Right, so the last thing, the last point, which was we talking about with the golf swing that you actually had as well. And it was a tendency with your transitional period that when you swung to the top of the swing, remember your hands were working around here somewhere, but then when the club was coming back down, it worked out about here. So your hands were here one minute, next minute they were here. And one of the tendencies we see with golfers when they're swinging the golf club now is they have a tendency to use this right hip to thrust forward, and this actually then throws the right hip forward. Because a lot of golfers are told, rightly or wrongly, that the hips need to rotate and they've got to turn the hips more and so on. That's what's going to generate power and speed. Doesn't actually do that for you. And you know, they're always trying to get this position here and so on. They're trying to, I think there's a few coaches out there that teach you got to do a turn to try and shallow the club and so on and so forth. It doesn't work. But what you've got to find is we've got to try and get the path of the club to come back down to the ball on the correct angle, and probably be similar or to where they were on the way going back. So the position that we had the hands going on the way back, which is around here, we almost want them to return on the same path. In a certain way though, to a certain degree, I'd rather the hands were working in an opposite loop. So the hands going out and then coming around this way. But what we need to stop first of all is this right hip. This right hip is working inaccurately for you. It's pushing forward, it's thrust in that way, and we need to try and keep that hip back. And if anything, we're going to try and teach you to feel it works slightly different during the downswing. And one of the best tips and one of the best drills that I could possibly give you for doing this, okay, is where we put the right foot back. Okay, it's one of my favorite drills. This sorted my golf swing out. So when you address a golf ball, and remember, you can hit golf balls doing this if you want to, but it's like a two-stage part really, or three-stage part. I want you to put the right foot back so the toe is sort of in line with the left heel, okay? And you're going to make some golf swings where you feel that you've got to try and keep this heel down on the ground as you hit the ball, okay? So you're going to make a golf swing, you're going to pull the club down, okay, and you're going to swing through, and that right foot is going to stay flat. You'll be restricted on the way through, you won't finish all the way through, but I want you to feel as though that you've got the right hip staying back and it's staying back, okay? With the right heel staying on the ground, you can't help but keep it back. You can't push it forward, because if I lift the heel off, I'm pushing forward, okay? So you're going to make a golf swing back and swing through, okay? I'm keeping that flat on the ground. The next stage to this then is to then feel as though that you're rolling the foot to the side. So as I do the same thing, I'm actually pushing down in this side. I will feel pressure gather in this section here of my foot. I will feel as though that I'm actually pushing into the ground with that bit there. And this is going to roll my knee in. It's actually going to push my right hip that way as well as staying back. Imagine there was a wall here or something. I've put my hip back on that. It's actually like it's almost as though it's sliding along that. This is actually going to encourage you to bring the club back down on the inside path. The beauty of having this right hip out the way though, look how much space I have here in the downswing to pull the club down and swing out in the correct path. Whereas when my right hip is invading, I'm having to then create angles, which is what you was having to do, which was lift up and try to get out the right hip's way, okay? This is a beautiful way of trying to stay back and swing through. Once I've got used to that right foot rolling in and working this way, if I wanted to on the third, you know, as I get better at it, of this feeling of the right hip or the right foot working in that way, I could then try and work on actually then allowing that right foot to then come up. Okay, as soon as I get a bit better at it, I can pull down and let it come up. But I'm just getting used to this feeling of the space being created here. And that's really important. That's what you need to be doing, okay? Don't go all guns blazing at it either. You don't have to start off hitting balls, you know, 180 yards or whatever it is. Chip it down there, 80 yards. Just do a few shots, just back, chip it down there. You don't have to go hammering tongs at it to start with. Give it a go. I can promise you it will work. Persevere with it. So remember, get the grip correct, get your posture correct, and then use this right foot back drill, okay? Let me know how you get on. It'd be great to see how the results work.